Hello, everybody. This is Building Inspector, aka Ocarina, aka Oki, and I am doing another how-to video. This time it is Storage Dungeons Part 5, Lessons Learned. So I am a hoarder. I think everyone that knows my name knows I am a hoarder, especially on AB. Um, I have done a lot of collecting house items, whether buying them, farming them, whatever. Why? Because my friends have been leaving the game and coming back. Lots of people that I know are disabled, so they might have surgery or they're sick or whatever, and they miss out on a holiday or a very limited time event that good luck getting those house items later on kind of situation. And I myself left the game for a while, and so I missed out on things, and it's really sad not being able to get those items. They're super expensive, and you can't do everything that you want to do when you're decorating. So I have a lot of storage dungeons, and even though I probably have the most storage dungeons of anyone, um, I have learned that I made a bunch of mistakes, and so I'm in the middle of creating all new dungeons. Why? Well, there's a few things you need to know. One, you can only create 20 dungeons per character, and when you create them, um, is important. So there is no sort feature whatsoever. How it does it is when your character creates a dungeon, it puts them at the top. And then it does everybody else's, okay? There's no order, there's no sorting. It gets pretty tedious if you have more than, like, say, six. I'm just going to say six. Yes, there's more than six displayed right now, but it starts getting a little hairy. And you can create a dungeon with the same name as somebody else that you have access to. It does not matter. And also, you could have alts create something. And let's say you do something silly like me. I created a bunch of holiday storage dungeons, and I just did Erlisty Day, Brew Day, Bristlebane Day, Tinkerfest, and Night of the Dead, and Frostfell. And that's it. 6 dungeons, thinking that will store all my holiday needs. And then with City Festival, I created first just City Festival storage. But then I realized, now that I'm doing more decorating, that, you know, when you decorate, you might need like 200 tiles and 50 columns or what, or dividers or whatever. And so, you know, with City Festival, it's not a big deal because twice a year you can access a specific City Festival. However, I have everyone and their brother coming into me asking me, do you have this, like 20 of this, 30 of that kind of thing? It's never like, oh, do you have, well, maybe every once in a while do you have one of this? But, so even like a chair, I've had people say, do you have 20 of this chair? It's like crazy. So I've gone overboard. Now, I've split out my dungeons because storage wise, and I hope that I will never ever ever have to do this again because it is a pain in the butt moving all the stuff. It takes a lot of time. So what I ended up doing, I did try to like expand the City Festival stuff and do um evil, good, neutral, and then general. So Freeport and um Nariak are evil, Gorowin and Hollis were neutral, and then Kelethin and Kinos were good. And then the general is just like things that you can buy no matter which city festival it is. There's a few like food items, kitchen items and stuff. Anyway, I have split it out even further. I have found that I need overflow stuff, so this is just extra stuff. Um, I I also do sometimes sell dungeons. So let's say I specifically farm something so that I can sell it. If I can't fit it in my broker box, I could put it there, And then if someone asks me for an item and it's still in my sell thing, I haven't gotten to it. Okay, you can have some of it. I do have a share one. I also, on some of them, have a crafted. It all depends upon what it is. So there's that. So I highly recommend you seriously sit down, figure out what you want things to be broken up to. If you don't want to do City Festival, because you can always get the tile from the marketplace or whatever, you might not need this many. You might not share with someone or whatever, or you don't like, the Kelvin tiles, you just like Freeport and who knows, but I highly recommend creating them at the same time. So I sat down and in one shot, without logging out, without zoning or uh, logging out completely and logging back in. One session I created the dungeons. I didn't even enter any of them until the end. So I sat down and I did create dungeon this, create dungeon that, so they are all in order. And it doesn't matter which character I am on, they're in the same chunk. I will scroll down now and show you that there let me go to the bottom. One character created the crafted storage dungeons for each of the holidays, and I didn't do it all at the same time. When Erlissi came around, I created it. Then when Brew Day came along, I created the Brew Day one. They're not in the same spot, okay? So it is a pain in the butt. And when you start scrolling, it's really easy not to see everything. So like Kushida did the overflow for Brew Day, Bristleblade Day. She did a merchant one. Like she did all kinds of crazy stuff. So, but she has a ton of storage dungeons, but here's only a few of them. So even if you create stuff on the same character, it does not group them for other characters. They could be, I could have one here and then one here and then one here for a character, and it's a bloody mess. Okay. So oops. So what I did was I went overboard. Imagine that. So um what I've eventually done, let me go to the top and show you for like say nature items. Not a holiday or anything, but nature items. I will scroll down. Okay, it's after urns. That's a temp storage dungeon. What I did was I kind of lumped certain kinds of house items together because you can only have 20 dungeons per character. So what I did was I sat down with Taki and one of my characters, and I thought about nature stuff. So I made a crystal storage, and I realized, 2,000 crystals is not going to be enough. So now for certain, I'm going to be using crystals or nature items a lot. So I have a regular crystal storage and I have a crystal overflow storage. And then I did flower, fungus, plant. And if you notice, each one has a regular one and then an overflow. And rock and shell, stump and topiary, tree and vine. And I already regret it. Why? Because I just noticed that we're getting a lot of grass. I should have created a grass one. I've already started putting stuff in the new dungeons and I really don't want to create another one, so I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do. Am I going to put it in the plant? Am I going to put it in with vine? Like, I don't know. Who knows? I'm pretty sad. And I don't like I even if I deleted them, I don't think I could get them all together. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. She created 20. So even if I wanted to, it wouldn't be grouped with these other ones because you can only create 20. Okay, so those were my uh, nature ones. So then I did things like furniture. I did bunk bed, double bed, single bed, because there's a lot of beds out there now, so I wanted to break it up a little bit. Bench, chair, sofa, stool, those are seating things. It's still a furniture thing, so what I ended up doing is I alphabetized the bed, so bunk, double, single, that's alphabetical. But then I go to bench, chair, sofa, stool. That's alphabetical, but it's not for just that character. Okay, I'm just saying how I did it so you kind of understand. So then I did like book stuff. So empty bookcase, full bookcase, shelves. Then I did like counter, desk, table, cabinet, dresser, and then I did a fireplace, pedestal, podium, stand. Um, so yeah, I broke them down. I thought of each kind of different item and did that. In the past, things like buckets and um, buckets, chests, I'm trying to baskets. I kind of lumped two together, so I did basket and bucket together, and then I did chest and crate together. And but there's so many now that I did even split those up. So for the holiday stuff, like Night of the Dead, I have a regular one, which it could be like a very small number, like 5 of each Night of the Dead item that is not crafted. I recommend not mixing crafted in there unless you'd like do one of every single item no matter how you get it, but it's for Night of the Dead. You could do that. So it's more of like a display. But I do a crafted one, so I am going to be opening up my dungeons again to certain key people like Devil Kiss. She does several different house events and she goes on every server, and when someone like backs out, she takes over most of the time and decorates that house. If you've looked, there have been events where she's done like 9 houses in an event, 2 or 7 were people dropping out. Each time it's different. Sometimes she's asked other people to help take one, but her and her mom, they are crazy fast at decorating really amazing houses. So people like that go to different servers, they might not have stuff. Eventually, I'm going to be moving some characters to other servers once I break out my items because I'm already redoing things. But I want to open up crafted. Let's say um, I'm just going to use Devil Kiss. I'm not, let's say she has a surgery and she's recovering and can't get to a computer for 3 months. And she misses one of the holidays because we have all these holiday now. She won't have the recipe book, but she would have to wait for someone that's willing to craft her an item that she wants. So I have created a crafted one just for that, so I can open it up just in case someone misses the recipe. I have requested that they make the holiday recipes tradable and stackable, so you can put them in a depot, and if someone missed the event, you can kindly give it to them or sell it to them or whatever. Will they do that? I don't know. I think they should. It's a holiday. It should be fun. Other recipes you can trade and stuff. This heirloom and no trade, and it's just driving me nuts. Okay. So then, yeah, Night of the Dead. I thought that they might get to be like Frostfeld with gifty stuff. I mean, we can harvest stuff from graves. We can throw pumpkins. So there's different ways. I forget which one. I think gifty. I do the pumpkin one, and harvest I do the graves or vice versa. I can't remember what I was going to do now, but there's the Santa Glug that gives you free gifties. There used to be candles and ornaments that you could get when you harvest. So I just added them just in case. If I don't put anything in there, great. So with Frostful, there's a merchant and a vendor. One takes just regular coin for most of the stuff and sells recipes, and then the other one you have to like farm in a specific zone and get special tokens. So but there is a Night of the Dead merchant, so I have a merchant and an overflow for that. I, I have a quested one, and quested overflow. I still have my sell. The share, plan on opening up just like the crafted one. So I have 2 of them that I might open. Currently, there's only, 2 merchants for Night of the Dead, the new stuff and the old stuff, but who knows? They might make us do special weird tokens because they have this thing for special currency now, it seems. If you look in your currency window on your main character, it's like huge. So I added a vendor just in case, even though there's no vendor. All right, I'm going to extreme. I have enough characters to create all kinds of them. It's better to have them all grouped together to find because you might not notice Night of the Dead when it's Night of the Dead and then it's surrounded by all kinds of chaos. But this is a big grouping. I'm gonna notice Night of the Dead even if I'm scrolling fast. So there's that to keep in mind. What else have I learned? Let's see here. I did cover this in one video. I forget which part it is. When you're placing items, you might accidentally get stuck in furniture. Just place something on the wall, like in the entry to a hallway, if that's where you never put house items, and make sure it's away from the wall. It's not in the wall. And then you can do go to. It's some item that you would. I recommend doing the marketplace. Or not marketplace, the market board that you get to access the broker normally, but you can't access it in a dungeon anyway. So and it's cheap. You might as well put one of those up instead. I was doing signs, but I didn't realize you could put the marketplace in there. So use that, and you can click the go to button for the marketplace thing, and you're free from furniture. Um, what else? So there is a couple different ways you could put furniture or and organize it in a dungeon. I have found if someone else is going to access it, just put it in alphabetical order. So I'm going to go to one of my old dungeons and show you this. And I'm sorry this video is going to be really long. But some people find this very interesting. I've given tours, so let me find a Night of the Dead one that is crafted. I might have Erlisty Day as my old crafted one. Let me go in that one and see. It's easier to get to. It's at the bottom. So, sorry for the loading speed. Do, 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 do. Come on, come on, come on now. Dungeon. Let's load. All right. Come on. Oh, one thing that I have not covered that I've discovered, I have a mannequin storage dungeon, the old one anyway. I haven't figured out exactly how I want to break it out yet because there's house actors too. I have house actors and mannequins all in one. And I have a zillion of them. And I created it's really hard when people ask for a house actor and then I have to like create a new one, find the right outfit and blah blah blah. So I created one where there's a bunch and they say stuff. And so it's just too much. There's animation, there's sparklies, there's things popping up in the chat window. So not everyone has a really good computer where they won't go. But if I go in there with my nice computer, it's not top of the line. It's like 5 years old, but it was top of the line when I built it. Um, I have issues unless I change my options and my display down to like very high performance or extreme performance. So if you're going to be giving someone access, make sure that they know to change their display setting before they enter. You can get stuck in a dungeon. There's ways to get people out. I'm going to tell you right now, just because I don't want to create another video. So if you have someone that forgot to change their settings down, right now I think mine's lower, which is a good thing. It says custom, but I'm going to say high performance right now, because there's a lot of like candlelight and automation and these things that's way and stuff. But say someone gets stuck going into one of your dungeons and they're just stuck in the load screen. What you can do before they like exit the game and come back in on that character is you can remove their access completely from the dungeon. And they might have to do this twice. Sometimes it works on the first time, but sometimes you have to do it twice. So they log out of the game, they come back in on that character, and when it tries to load them again, it'll say, "Oh, you don't have access," and it'll boot them out to wherever they were before, hopefully. I can't remember how exactly. I'm pretty sure it's where they were before. Sometimes it's taken twice because they're like really, really stuck. So just something to keep in mind when you're doing dungeons. If you're going to be placing a lot of items, because you're creating them for the first time and you got like tons of items and you want to organize it like I do, um, you might want to drop it down just because it doesn't matter what the items look like. You're just organizing them. All right. So for something that's going to be accessed by people, and I don't know who I'm going to add down the road because a lot of people are trying their hand at running events and stuff. So what I did was I picked a corner. I put a little well, this one doesn't have it. The Night of the Dead one has it, but I put a sign. It's the I think it's the Freeport one, and it kind of points. There's like a blade that points, and so I point to the corner that it is. I also sometimes label the sign so it tells you it's in alpha order starting in this corner, and then it wraps around. So these cakes are near a delicious cake. So I just go and I use the layout editor because you can lay tiles, and so I lay them like they're tiles, even though they're not tiles. And then all I have to do is change a couple key little things to just keep moving the stuff along. So yeah, it's really fast. It doesn't take as long as you think. I lay it out this way so that people can see how many there are. Depending upon the holiday, some you might only fit a couple in there that they can grab. Sometimes you can go, some of them I have 20. I think this one has 10. I think Frostbolt fell, I shrunk it down to 5. So I still have room. Now let's say you go through, let's say it's 2017, you organize this thing, and now every year they're adding stuff. Oh no, I don't want to change and move all this stuff. What I did was go into another room. You might have to go 2 rooms down or 1 room down. But what I did was I created a section, I put a sign at the very start, and then I label what year it's for so that they know, okay, this is where I find this stuff. I don't think I've done that in here because it was like recent that I organized this. So yeah, bam, here you go. I put a sign, new 2016, and there it is. I have not organized it since then, so I'm missing a lot of items. But that's what you do, and you can pick where you put it. So something to think about before you pick which layout of dungeon you pick. So yeah, and when I hit this end here, so it ends here, then I don't put anything along here. I just start here and keep going. And then sometimes I don't usually though, I will put them this way as well. Otherwise, I go to the very next room and I start in the same corner and work my way around. So that's how I do it. And then if I do all my shared ones exactly the same, then they kind of know what to expect. And they will know go to a different room where the new stuff is. So I might even put the green swirly entrance thing where the latest year stuff is. I haven't decided yet. I might do that though. So yeah, that's how I do it for people accessing it. I will show you one more dungeon because I like for my personal ones to store things a little different. I don't let anything go up on the wall unless it's to save my butt from furniture squishing me. And why am I in this window? I want dungeons. And let's see here. I have some like one-time events where that might be the only time you get an item. And Akata did them. Where is um I'm trying to remember where she put them. I'm gonna go this way. Da 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 da. Not these new ones, not these new ones. Oops. Here we go. So for this one event, you you would get a recipe to drop, and or maybe you did so many tokens and then bought it from a merchant. I can't remember, but you would have to farm the mobs to get a special thing to drop so that you could craft two different building block sets, the marble and the sandstone. And what I just did is to ensure that even though I put that dust now in my crafting depot, I crafted a certain number of each building block and put it in so that it's completely full with building blocks to the 2000 mark. So just to ensure that if I ever need the stuff and someone took all my stuff in the crafting depot, I have them stored. So then the stuff that you bought from the merchant that was house items, I put it in this other one. Um, that's why they're right next to each other because I created them at the same time. So what I did, I didn't put anything up on the wall. So some of the things I had to lift up in the air, because of where like this or the the point where it's centered is in the middle, I think, and so things go down in the ground. You just lift it up. It's not that big of a deal. That's how I do it. And then I stack stuff. You cannot stack pets though. Pets all are on the floor. So I had to do two rows and they're not all lined up because they wiggle and stuff. And anyway, they're just a little bit of a mess, but that's what you do with pets. And then, like for rugs and tiles, I just stack them up in a stack and I have people or I take them from the top stack. If I do tile in dungeons that I give people access to. So that's how I do it. Sometimes I move it to the front though, so they don't have to walk because if it's too skinny, their character might get stuck. But anyway, so like this is a wall mounted thing. You know, I just put it there. So yeah, ceiling stuff, I do the same thing and I just have to lower it with instead of raising it up, I have to lower it. So it's like just above the ground. This thing is a ceiling item and yes, I had to lift it up or lower it, excuse me, lower it. Well, I'm confusing myself now. But anyway, so when I first did this, I crammed 2000 items in here. Yep, I did. And some items have more items than others because I'm more likely to use a book or a rug or a pan than these sperm looking like um, pets. So, all right, and look, there's tons of stuff going on, but I'm not legging out because I reduced my graphics. So that's what I do. Now, I have talked to a couple of people, and one person for sure, how they do it is in the very first room, they put one of every item, and so then it doesn't matter if they're lined up or whatever. And then in a very back room, they just dump all the stuff in there. And when they grab stuff, they just make sure that they're not grabbing the one that's in the front. So, or they just grab another one and place it right where the other one was, kind of thing, with the move button. So, that's one way to do it. So you don't have to use the layout editor to organize, but I think it's, since I plan on sharing some of them, and sometimes I give people access. And I go in with them and like they look at my stuff and go, "Can I have that?" And I'll say yes or no, kind of thing. So, it all depends upon what you want to do, but just remember, plan out for the future, not for your current, for the future, and figure out how you want to lump stuff together. I lump the holidays together, but of course, I'm not going to be able to get every single holiday created by one character, so it doesn't matter if Night of the Dead's here and, you know, Frostfeld's down here, because I will eventually be able to see it. It's not in alphabetical order, but at least they're clumped together, so it's easier for me to find. So, with that, I think that is all my lessons learned. I did tell you in a different video, I think, if you change the name of a storage dungeon, there is a bug. In my opinion, it's a bug. Let me see if I can find it. I it puts it in apostrophe s and then it adds whatever dungeon it is. So it added layer of scale of 4. It drove me nuts. So I'm glad that I'm redoing them. Just plan out how you're going to name stuff. If you do start creating dungeons to lump together and you're in the middle of it and you notice you have a typo, just delete. So let's say I created all these dungeons and then I realized Neriac is spelt wrong. So to keep them clumped, what I did was I deleted this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then recreated all of them because I hadn't placed anything. I hadn't changed any access or picked up the decorative items. I just quick created them. I made a typo, then, I quick fixed it. So hopefully you catch the typo as soon as you create the dungeon and you can quick delete it and add it. They'll all be in order. You don't have to delete all 10 of these if you made a mistake on this one or this one. But if you made the mistake there, I highly recommend delete this one, delete this one, delete this one, and then create the 3 over. All right, I think that's everything now. If you have any questions, let me know. I do plan on doing a more advanced one. Um, I'm going to do the can't access from house advanced thing. I forget what other advanced things I said I would cover, but um, I can also give you a look at how I actually use the layout editor to actually place the items. I'll do a video on that. So if there's anything else that I missed with storage dungeons, let me know. And you need a video, let me know. Okay. You can email me. There's stuff on the forums that you can access. It's eq2 buildinginspector@gmail.com. You can send Antonia underscore Bale dot Ocarina Ocarinah. Why her? Because she's my main character, not building. I I won't go to the other servers. Even though I have an Ocarina on every server, I don't log them in very often. So send it to, so if you're not on Antonia Bell, you have to do the Antonia underscore Bale dot, and then my name. Ocarinah. There's an H on the end, and it will come to me. So thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for watching.